Hello and welcome to Access Sportsnet. Lakers driven by your Southern California Honda dealers. Chris McGee, James Worthy, Karan Butler. Allie will be here in a little bit. You'll hear Brez and Trudell handling the post-game locker room duties. The Lakers go to 2-4 in the bubble. Here's some good news. Offense had been struggling. LeBron set the tone, ignited it. He played great. The bench was awesome. They scored 54 points. Most threes made in the bubble so far by the Lakers with 12. That's good news, right? But sometimes, James, you come up against a future Hall of Famer named T.J. Warren. And he just takes it to you. I joke about being a Hall of Famer, but the kid has been. If there was a bubble Hall of Fame,
it may not be a joke. Yeah, he keep playing like this.
He's in the bubble Hall of Fame already.
I don't think this is a fluke. T.J. Warren has arrived. He's, he was traded from Phoenix for cash.
Cash consideration.
That's cash, and he took that. He didn't like that, a little offended. But this brother can play, man. Cash money brother got busy. 18 points in the first quarter, Geeter. He didn't even score in the second quarter and still came out and 39 points in this game. He's someone to be reckoned with. And
15 of 22, James. 5 of 8 from 3.
Geeter, he does it under control. He and DeRozan remind me a lot of each other. DeRozan doesn't shoot the 3 as much, but that mid-range game, shot maker, knows how to bump you off of him. He's going to get his shot off. So I love this player, and he was the problem. And along with Oladipo also. But overall, the Lakers played hard. They just met a guy that was on fire and has been on fire since the bubble started.
Brogdon played great. Oladipo played great as well. I don't want to take anything away from those guys, but T.J. Warren's a story, so I want you to jump in a little bit. Our producer, Ryan, in my ear was like, I got to show you his numbers. They're insane. And he's right. 34.8 points per game in the bubble in 37 minutes.
Hey, listen, we was talking about prior to the bubble who was going to be the first to crack 50 points in the bubble. A lot of people said James Harden, LeBron James, Giannis. No one had T.J. Warren coming out and playing the way that he's playing. And look, you think about his past cash considerations. Look what he's averaging right here. Just close to 35 points, field goal percentage over 60, 3-point percentage over 55%. Like, that is astronomical numbers, but look, he's a certified scorer. He gets it done.
Yeah, we joke about the cash considerations, but when Phoenix traded him, that's literally what they traded him for. And he went on record saying, this stings a little bit. I thought I was part of their future. Sometimes, guys, it just takes the right situation, timing, and a young man can pop. And that is exactly what he's doing. We mentioned LeBron playing great, but I want to go to AD first, guys. And Karan, I want you to start. Listen, in the pregame show, we kind of talked about his up and down trend in the bubble. He's had those 2 amazing games, Clippers for 34, 42 against Gobert. But the other games, he's really struggled. Today, I mean, he's out there. He's 3 for 14. He's 0 for 4 from 3, 8 points. Are you concerned?
I'm not concerned because he's still got the 14 attempts. I would love to see that in his minutes, be somewhere to 20 plus every time he's out there, because he has to be that dominant force and try to impose his will on the game night in and night out in order for us to actually hoist up that trophy at the end of this season. But look, you're going to have nights like this, and the dominance of LeBron was there, and the others, they stepped in a major way, but he has to be better.
And I think saying are you concerned is probably the wrong way to put it, because we've talked a lot about it and we're not. But James, what you do see when you watch the games is where he's getting the basketball, and he's just not attacking like we're used to him seeing, him attack since probably that game against Gobert. And obviously they've clinched, so maybe his eyes are on the playoffs. I don't know. What are you seeing?
Yeah, I don't think his eyes are necessarily on the playoffs. I know he knows that LeBron, the rest of the Lakers, they have to get ready. They have to gel. What I think is happening with AD is he's not recognizing how teams are guarding him now. They watched him play in New Orleans, watched him dominate. They know what his strengths are. When he faces up at that elbow and at the perimeter, they're sending guards to him. I don't know how many turnovers he had, but when he starts his moves, they're sending a secondary guy, and that's disrupting him. When they're doing that, that's when he has to recognize go in the post. Every time he went in the post tonight, he was successful. First play, spin in quick, got fouled. One other time, made a pass to Pope for a layup. Another time, kicked it to McGee for a layup. So he's got to recognize when he's being guarded that way, and he can no longer play as a perimeter player trying to ISO and face up.
I brought this up to you guys the other night. when he only shot 4 free throws. And then I see tonight only 2. That just tells me he's playing a different game than we're used to. We're used to seeing him when he's in full attack mode. And he's, like you said, facing up, getting you in the lane, attacking, then hitting threes. Guys, he's shooting 10 to 14 free throws a game. Yeah. So if he's only shooting 2, what's that telling you?
Look, he's not being, assertive and being a surgeon out there from an offensive standpoint. And he's just kind of being casual and let the game come to him. And that's something that we saw earlier in the season where I think it was San Antonio when we opened up the season, and he was just like kind of loose out there, stretched out on the perimeter, getting away from the box. But as Big Game touched on, his first initial move, first possession, he got to the paint, got something early, put them on their heels and in a bad situation. So he can do that pretty much whenever he wants to because he's that special of a talent.
All right, let's get you to the
reacting like that is because of what they expect from me, which is a sign of respect, and it just shows what I've done at a high clip more times than not. So I'm not offended by it. If anything, it should just tell you how much it hurt them to go through what I put them through in those situations previously.
Now, if you thought that it ended there in the post-game press conference, we took it to Instagram. Pat Bev chiming in, Cancun on 3, basically telling us that the Portland Trail Blazers would be leaving and going on vacation. We saw Paul George type in, and you're getting sent home this year. Respect. Dame never backs down, switching teams, running from the grind. You boys is chumps. Damian Lillard will always have the last word. I want to go to the Prince of Petty on this one, though. Paul Pierce. From your studio, I need the instant reaction.
Game in the bubble. Come on, dog. Save it for the playoffs.
What's your reaction? No, what's your reaction?
I like a little banner back and forth because, I did it myself, not through Twitter. I actually said it to their face, but it's good for the game. These two probably won't match up in the playoffs. The Blazers are likely to see the Lakers, so we won't even see a part 2 to this. We're not going to get the end to this, so I don't know. Come on.
You see, I thought this was, here's my conspiracy theory. I think Doc Rivers, I think this was a perfect setup on this game, okay? If you're sitting there, Doc Rivers, okay, the Lakers got number 1 overall seed in the West. Like, how do we get the Lakers to go against Portland? Okay, we're not going to play P-Bev tonight. We're not going to play Kawhi. PG he didn't play the last 5 minutes. Lou Will didn't play the last 9 minutes. I thought this was a missed opportunity for Portland. But often, I do like the fact that, look, the one guy that we know doesn't need any gasoline added to the fire is Dame. No. It's Dame. And I think this puts him on another mission to clamp that 8th seed. They're going to get it.
This is always going to be a touchy topic because when you're an all-NBA caliber player, at some point in your career, you have to make a decision. Can I win a championship here, and should I try to take top dollar? LeBron left Cleveland. KD left OKC. Those were MVPs, Jay. They decided they couldn't get it done. Anthony Davis decided he wanted to leave. We're going to be talking about whether Giannis is going to leave or stay based on what happened in this year's playoffs. Right. So that's a touchy topic. For Dame, he stayed. Yeah. That's why we love so much how Kawhi got it done with Toronto. It's like he went there 1 year, won a championship, boom. He that dude. And so for Dame, he trying to do it like Dirk did it with the Mavs. And I like this, Petty, as well.
You're about to say, you don't think
I was going to say, can he do it? Does it work?
You don't think it's going to work.
Portland is doing a terrific job of building something around them. They had some injuries this year, but they're really good. Look at their squad.
Are they good enough to win a chip, though? That's the question. I mean, they got to the Western Conference Finals last year, but do you think they're good enough with the way that the powers have shifted in the West?
I do. They were in the Western Conference Finals last year.
Paul, I want to get you back in on this conversation and whether or not Damian Lillard's staying in Portland and sticking out with his team, if they're building something around him that can put them in contention for the West.
Well, they got to make the playoffs this year. I mean, they did an excellent job, I think, getting the pieces around them. But I think we see it each and every year. They fall up short. If they have a great series, then a really bad series. I just don't know if you can win a championship. I've said this before, as the point guard as your best player. You need a tall, athletic wingman. As we've seen over the years, every year, Finals MVP, Kawhi, Kobe, LeBron, D-Wade. I mean, the list goes on. The only ones who've been great at that position, the Finals MVP in the Finals, was Chauncey Billups and Tony Parker. I just don't think they can win with the point guard being their best player. Now, if they got Kawhi, which they won't get, then they got a shot. But He's going to have to go somewhere. Maybe team up with Giannis. Who knows? It won't happen.
I know he didn't win Finals MVP. You ever heard of Steph Curry before? They were putting it down before KD arrived.
Yeah. And guess who won Finals MVP?
He the one, the vanguard.
He won Finals
MVP.
Changed the game. Iguodala won Finals MVP, and then KD.
What a media vote on that. We all know that he wasn't. 10 people voted on that, man.
Jay. Your play gonna determine that.
See, but that's what makes this a touchy topic, because you're a great player like Paul George. Basically, Dame saying you didn't go get help, you became help. And that becomes a tricky thing to navigate. And so that's why Paul ultimately got emotional with his final post.
I just feel like guys say that now, but in 10 years, ain't nobody going to care. Like, media is going to always try to bring it up. But if you got chips, you got chips.
I disagree, Jay. I disagree.
mean, with the exception of, I know you're going to go back to Kevin Durant, but like a section, like, so LeBron chased chips, he's getting chips. There's a new way, like there's always change is inevitable. There's always a new way to go out and get it. So like, do people that stay in one location for their whole career, you give them more grata than other people that decide to go chase chips? I don't know.
Either way, it said, we already know how Dame feels about it.